Well, greetings all, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Self-Evident. I'm Lee Anderson, coming to you from the Pacific Northwest. Okay, folks, it's time to recalibrate our thinking on the economy and inflation. Even your most trusted sources are not telling you the most important part. The most important part is the only thing that gives money any value is the intelligent application of work. If you think I overstated this fact, give me 20 minutes and I'll prove it to you. To do that, we must think back to the beginning of civilization, to the creation and use of money as a means of facilitating barter. And that's it, that's the secret. Money was meant to be a tool to facilitate barter. Eventually, clever people realized they could skip the work part if they could just figure out a way to accumulate money some other way without working for it, because money spent the same way whether one worked for it or not. When you think about how backbreaking the daily work grind was back then, no motors, no hydraulics, plowing rock-strewn fields with ox-drawn plows, cutting trees with axes and crosscut saws, milling boards with handheld ripping saws, harvesting wheat with a scythe, grinding grain with stones, washing clothes by hand, typically working from sunup to sundown. The only people exempt from the daily toil were the royal families, the rich merchants, the military, and the clergy. As a ruling group, the aristocracy. Everyone else had to work hard, had to do whatever they could figure out to do to earn credits. Financial parasites have been with us since the inception of money, for years, decades, centuries, millennia. These parasites have morphed and multiplied until today we are inundated with financial parasites and financial predators, and the tool we created as money no longer works for us. We work for money. We work for the financial predators, unless, of course, you are a member of the aristocracy. All of this should be self-evident. However, we are in a culture where many, if not a slight majority, of hard-working people have sympathy and loyalty to the aristocracy. We have been encouraged to acknowledge and even praise the job creators. Over centuries, the predators and parasites have homogenized themselves within the working class, just like today's store-bought whole milk is homogenized. It all looks the same. However, raw milk separates. The cream rises to the top. It's very easy to distinguish the cream. What we will do next is separate the cream, the working class, from the aristocracy, so we can see clearly who is actually contributing to civilization and who is not. We will need some outside help, and it just so happens an alien on a distant planet is doing his master's thesis on economics and has set up an experiment. Our friend from beyond knows the kind of people he needs: hardworking, honest, cooperative. He buzzes around and collects 200 such good folks along with their tools of their trade and takes them to a suitable planet and drops them off. This planet is remarkably like our Earth was before man, a raw planet, bountiful but savage and untamed. His instructions to the bemused group are very simple. This is your new home. There are no other humans here. It is early in the day. Prepare for the coming night, the coming inclement weather. Create a civilization using what you know, using the tools you have and the knowledge you have gained in your professions. The alien leaves in a ship and the residents of the new planet take stock. There are loggers, miners, farmers, civil engineers, sanitation engineers, botanists, carpenters, construction workers, fishermen, and hunters. There are doctors, nurses, geologists, prospectors, surveyors, and land planners, plumbers, electricians, mechanics, homemakers, and laborers. Go ahead and add your own idea of what kind of essential worker would be an asset to this new civilization. We're going to call this planet W for workers. The initial rules are that everyone has to do the work they did on Earth, and there is no money to exchange. Everything is barter. On his second trip to Earth, the alien collects around 200 non-essential workers. By the way, this term was used during the COVID outbreak. These people are taken to a similar planet or different continent of the same planet, your choice, but the terrain and climate are almost identical. This place is called Planet M for money. Everyone brought here is exceedingly rich, multimillionaires and billionaires. Among these people are bankers, hedge fund managers, private equity managers, corporate CEOs, stockbrokers, day traders, health insurance executives, life insurance executives, pharmaceutical company CEOs, legacy media moguls, social media moguls, and venal politicians. You get the idea. Just for fun, we'll add some sports star multimillionaires, some Hollywood producers, and actors worth multiple millions, maybe even an author or two. And oh, let's not forget to add a couple multimillionaire televangelists. The alien has provided these people with the tools they normally use to make money. Money. Computers connect to everyone else, and a power supply to run their computer networks. These folks, like the workers, are limited to doing only what they do on Earth to make money. Again, they are set down on their new planet in the morning and told they must survive and create a new civilization. As with the workers, the inhabitants of Planet M are to rely on their professional skills. Back on Planet W, the people gather around and agree that they should do whatever they can to prepare for what will likely be a cooler nightfall. They will need food and shelter first and foremost. So the fishermen go fishing, the hunters go hunting, the loggers start cutting trees for firewood and to feed the portable sawmill that starts cutting boards for shelters and tables. The land planner, civil engineer, and land surveyors have a huddle and agree to look for an optimum location to begin their new village. That will become a town. That will eventually become a large city. The farmers and chemists join forces to look for suitable ground to plant crops. The sanitation engineer finds a suitable place to begin construction of a sanitation plant. The botanists and laborers go in search of edible plants and bring home heavy packs of greens and mushrooms. The unknown food is tested as safe to eat by a chemist. By evening, some crude shelters have been erected by the construction workers. Fortunately, the alien dropped them off close to the sea, close also to freshwater lakes and rivers. Fishermen bring back fish and crustaceans. Hunters bring back meat and hides to make leather. Fires are started, and the first night on the New World has gotten off to a good start, and no money has exchanged hands. Meanwhile, on Planet M, the people are quickly discovering their skills do not transfer very well to everyday living. They have all the money in the world. Everyone is rich beyond belief, but there is nothing to buy. There are no stores, no cars to drive to the stores, no roads upon which to drive the cars. There are no water pipes below the roads, no gas pipes below the roads, no power lines beneath the roads, no sewer pipes beneath the roads. There are no houses to buy, no furniture put in the non-existent houses. The day is wearing on, and it's getting cooler. There are no shelters, no one to build them for purchase, no food, no shelter, because in this group, no one does actual work. They are used to having their money work for them. Their money makes them even more money, and their cycle continues till they have and control most all the money and therefore all the political systems in the world. But not this world. The harried, confused presidents of Planet M frantically pet keyboards, stare into their monitors, and try to find a way to use their money to get the essentials they so desperately need. They try investing in each other's companies, but that doesn't work. They buy the stocks, but nothing happens. Then one of them gets a brilliant idea. Maybe it's because our money is not worth anything here. What if we use gold instead? Luckily, some of them brought a lot of gold, and now they think they are going to eat well tonight. Except even with gold, there's still nothing to buy. So another one has a great idea. Thinks he knows the answer. We all have computers. We are all connected. Why don't we invent a very secure cryptocurrency? That will give us all the confidence the system cannot be scammed. But alas, once again, even with cryptocurrency, they realize there is nothing to buy because nobody has done any work. Nobody fishes, nobody hunts, nobody is a logger or miner or carpenter. Nobody on Planet M does anything except move money around to make even more money. And that night, with no food, no warmth, no shelter, a dread settles among the new residents of Planet M. They huddle together and shiver. Back on Planet W, the days turn into weeks. The weeks turn into months, and the many shelters have been built. Sanitation lagoon and leaching system is keeping the settlement clean and fresh. The civil engineers, land surveyors, and construction workers have built a system of ditches and flumes to bring fresh water into the new growing village. Food that has been gathered, hunted, and fished for is being dried and stored. Sheep are sheared, wool is carded and knitted into warm clothes. Turns out the lowly unsung homesteader, a jack of all trades, is one of the most valuable citizens in the new civilization. Chicken eggs are hatching into more chickens. Soil is tested, tilled, and planted with seeds. Life is going along rather smoothly. However, bartering is becoming a bit tedious. The farmer who raises chickens and eggs doesn't really need the sawmill operator's boards any longer, so trade gets difficult. Eventually, they reluctantly agree they need a medium of exchange to facilitate barter and thus create a fiat currency. Well aware of the evils of money, the residents of Planet W decide their money credits need to be pegged to work. Only people who work get credits. It's decided there will be no hierarchy of value of jobs, at least not for now. Anyone who works gets the same allotment of credits as everyone else. We're going to make this an arbitrary number for now, say $10,000 each. This will suffice for now. This will give every working person plenty of barter money and leave a surplus to spend as things become more complex, take more time and resources to build like a house. We have circled back to the beginning assertion that only work gives money value, and as a result of creating credits or money, barter gets easier. Money retains its original value because it represents the intelligent application of tangible work. So now that we have money, we can now explore how inflation comes in and destroys the value of money. Eventually on planet W, some couples start having children, or the children that originally arrived with their parents have grown up and are getting jobs of their own. Because they work, because they are now contributing to the viability of the new village, the new civilization, the group, it creates the exact same amount of money, 10,000 for every new worker. There is no inflation because the quota of money is keyed to each worker, so there is no dilution of money. No unearned money is injected into the circulation. This system works because the alien fellow picked altruistic people to start with. These people are intelligent and know the evils that come with hoarding money and are happy to work and do not see any good coming out of hoarding money or of being lazy. Moving into the future, no matter how many new workers come into the workforce, each receives the same quota of money, so every dollar created is equally pegged to work. Now it gets interesting, and we really show how inflation happens. Because no one can work on planet M, everyone has died of starvation, exposure, or maybe by some other macabre reason. The alien finds a half dozen multimillionaires from Earth, lets them bring suitcases of money, the exact kind of money the people on planet W have created. Now these new rich people have more money in their suitcases than all the 200 to 300 residents of planet W have combined. These rich people know that they don't have to work in order to have all the things everybody else has worked for because they have money. Because they have an abundance of money, they can afford to buy goods and services at a higher price than everyone else. Because these new moneyed up people do no work, yet consume as much or more per person as the working folk do, the relationship between money and work is out of balance. Suddenly, the farmer is running low on eggs because there are more people who need and want eggs, so he has to ration his allotment just a bit. But the money people don't like to be rationed, offer him more money than everybody else is used to paying. Reluctantly, the farmer has no way of knowing who has earned their credits and who has not, so sells his eggs at a higher price. The money people have so much money, this increase in price is nothing to them, but the working people are now going to have to come up with more money than before for their eggs. Because the clear separation between workers and non-workers, parasites, has now become muddled, no one knows who worked for the money and who didn't. The rich people who don't do no work can afford to buy way more lumber to build their homes. They can afford to hire someone to build their homes. They can eat the best food and even can afford to waste food. Now you might say, but the people on planet W came with tools to help them build a new civilization, and those tools are the result of factories and distribution, and that kind of scale takes investment money, the kind of thing people on planet M do. True enough, however, even without bringing tools, only bringing the clothes on their backs, the people of planet W know how to work. Fishermen might not have tackle, but they know how to fish, know fish habitat, know where the crustaceans hang out. Farmers and biologists know and can smell good earth to plant. Geologists know what iron ore and native copper looks like, so they can begin the process of creating iron and metals. It will take several generations to reach anything resembling a comfortable lifestyle, and a few will succumb to the hardships, no doubt. But on the other hand, the inhabitants of planet M are no better off or no worse off whether they have their technology or not, because they don't work. And this should be the best evidence yet that work is superior to capital, because there is no capital without the material foundations of work. The early American aristocrats, including our founding fathers, would not be rich without the slave labor of men and women in the cotton fields and tobacco fields. Nelson Rockefeller wouldn't have gotten rich without the dirty, dangerous work of the oil rig workers. Jeff Bezos wouldn't be rich without the hundreds of thousands of underpaid workers. Elon Musk wouldn't be rich without the workers and engineers he hires. The point of all of this is to bring attention to the vast majority of people who do the daily work of building and keeping our civilization viable, the same people who we never see on TV or on talk shows. We do see them early in the mornings, pouring onto the already crowded freeways to get to work or to their job site, and you might be one of them. The irony is that the people who do real tangible work don't have much say in matters of the economy. The people who do have a say most likely come from well-to-do families. went to college, got a degree in economics or business management, but they never actually did any real work, such as the folks on Planet W. Understanding where money gets its true value, work, what makes money diluted, unearned money injected into the pool of earned money, is what every politician needs to understand thoroughly. And the best way to understand is to stop talking to other economists, other media personalities, and start talking to working people. The people will vote for the candidates who begin to convey an understanding of what it means to make a dollar stretch, what it feels like when you can't afford a home or apartment, what excruciating decisions have to be made when a homemaker, mother or father, has to choose between filling their tank and paying overdue bills. The politician who truly has an understanding of just how debilitating inflation caused by unearned money diluting the earned money will win the vote and hopefully be able to recalibrate our thinking on what actually gives money value. So now back to our own planet. Look around. The working people and the non-working people are all mixed up, homogenized. Money spends the same whether it's worked for or not. Look around, listen how the experts pretend to understand how money works. See how many people who do no real work are making by far the most money. This is the main cause of inflation, and those financial wizards who bamboozle you with market trends, investment firms, the plus and minus effects of interest rates, stock projections, consumer confidence, and on, are themselves sitting there in front of a computer just like the helpless rich people on planet M, except they are living off the energy and efforts of people like us who do go to work and do give money its value. The final takeaway is our money has to be pegged to something real. Work is real. Work produces vital goods and services. The intelligent application of work is what turned our hunter-gatherer species into citizens living in fully functioning civilization. Pegging our money to work means there will be no stock market crashes. Pegging our money to work means as long as people are willing to work, the economy will be robust, perhaps a little less so in those 2 or 3 months of deep winter. Pegging money to work means the value of the dollar will stay steady. Pegging the money to work means money works for us, not us for money. Debt will be a thing of the past, or at least rare. So there it is. We have successfully recalibrated our thinking about money, economy, and inflation. The answer is to peg our public money supply to work, not to gold, not to silver, not to cryptocurrency, but work. The need to peg our money to work is self-evident and will return us to the original idea where money works for us and not the other way around.